Over the years, one persistent conservative complaint has been that the federal bureaucracy has a liberal bias and that even when they win elections, conservative officials can't get the bureaucrats to implement their policies. This is one of the reasons why many Republicans vowed to destroy the administrative state or the deep state if they return to power in 2024. According to conventional democratic theory, there's a clear hierarchical authority relationship between elected politicians and bureaucrats. The former, reflecting the will of the people, act as principals who issue mandates, and the bureaucrats are their agents whose duty it is to carry those mandates out. Government obviously wouldn't work if bureaucrats routinely defied the authority of their political bosses. There are times, however, when bureaucrats act as a useful check on executive power. They often know more than the political appointees who regularly come into office with high hopes of effecting big policy changes, but without understanding the complexities of implementation, the political constraints, or the unintended consequences flowing from their policies. A much more serious problem arises when elected politicians order bureaucrats to do things that are likely unconstitutional or downright illegal. The Trump administration saw many examples of this, beginning with a ban on travel from Muslim-majority countries to reallocating money for the border wall that had been explicitly denied by Congress, to the desire expressed by the president to shoot Black Lives Matter protesters. The most egregious example of illegal behavior was, of course, Trump's fomenting of a riot on January 6th in order to block the peaceful transition of power. In a recent Atlantic article, Jeffrey Goldberg details the fears that former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Mark Milley had after January 6th that Trump would do something crazy to keep himself in power. In response to these revelations, the former president said that General Milley had committed an act of treason, quote, an act so egregious that, in times gone by, the punishment would have been death, in all caps. America at that moment faced the problem of the mad king. The conventional theory of how authority is supposed to work in a democracy breaks down when the president himself becomes the chief threat to democratic institutions. At that point, bureaucratic subordinates have not just the right, but the duty to protect those institutions. They had, as Milley noted, sworn an oath not of personal loyalty to the president, but rather to the Constitution of the United States, and as such they are one of the important checks on the abuse of executive authority in our political system. What is horrifying about the present moment is that we face a real risk of re-electing this mad king again next year. Thank you for listening. If you want to go to the blog post on which this video is based, please go to the link at the bottom of the screen, and please consider subscribing to American Purpose to regularly read my blog, Frankly Fukuyama.